Hey there. 11:03 on the Gulf Coast. 8:03 a.m. out west. 4:03 p.m. or 16:03 out there in London across the pond, which might be losing some water because we're going to be getting it here in the Tampa Bay. Oh, and if that's not enough, I've since being back on the air from the Helene vacation last week, which I did not ask for nor want. We're about to go off again. I'll probably be here tomorrow. I'm hoping to be here tomorrow. But we got Milton coming now. I'll tell you the funny story about that. We've got Milton coming now. And there's a third one. Because actually, we've had one already. Debbie came through earlier. Not near as for us here in the Tampa Bay, in the southern end of the Nature Coast. Not near as challenging or whatever you want to say. But what am I doing here? I'm trying to get some people into this room on Chatter, a new um, social media application that I use. And I don't know, maybe I'll keep using it. I don't know. The reason I say that is because I had to buy a small lavalier microphone. A lavalier microphone is one of those things you see on a news guy. It's on his shirt, on his jacket. It's clipped to the shock mount of my radio station microphone, and the cable runs down the boom arm to my iPhone because doesn't have a this application doesn't have a desktop version like Twitter does. Like literally any of the social media platforms we're on, in addition to the radio, all of them do. I really like the guys that are bootstrapping this application. That's what I do. I'm self syndicated, as Coach Uncle John tells me. I am my producer. I am my director. I am my intern that I get to yell at. I'm all of it. And in some manners, I'm none of it because, what's that saying? Master of all trades, or jack of all trades, master of none, or something like that. Whatever it is. I don't know. You get the idea. And still, day 3 without a camera, just because I'm busy working on my house. And now I've got to wrap all of this stuff up, take it with me as I evacuate. My son just gave me an invite after being with his girlfriend and her family for 2 weeks. I think it just occurred to him, hey, maybe Dad can park his van in the garage. Ugh, kids. Yeah, and now he's thinking of like, I've got like $20,000 worth of watches, and in the grand scheme of things, no, they're not important, but they are sentimental. One of them is an Omega. It is the exact same model that Daniel Craig wore in the movie Casino Royale. It's also the same one that Pierce Brosnan wore in Die Another Day. It was my gift to myself, because I didn't have a spouse or anything like that, for 5 years in the Secret Service. I have another one that was my 10-year gift. It's a Rolex. My one Rolex is probably by itself $20,000. Almost, if not $20,000. It's the green one, what they call the Hulk, I think. It's the green bezel, black face. It's a collector's. It by itself is a collector's item. Forget about the fact that it's a Rolex. That it is that green. It's a limited edition. They celebrate, I think, something like the 50th anniversary of that model is when they create the green color. I've got another one given to me by, and I got a puppy at my feet. I've got another one given to me by Bill and Hillary Clinton for Christmas. It was a Christmas gift. I've got a fourth one given to me by His Majesty King Abdullah from the Holy Kingdom of Jordan for being on his detail when he was here in the United States. And then I got a puppy that's sitting on my left arm right now, where any other watch would normally be. If I had a camera, I'd show you. I've got autographed books from presidents. I've got all of my Secret Service memorabilia. I've got probably another $20,000 or $30,000 worth of artwork from the late, great Thomas Kincaid, all of which is still here. all of which is still here. And I don't know what to do with it. The last storm, Helene, we've lucked out. The flood level got about 3.5 to 4 feet up the wall. Did not touch any of the artwork. Did not get up onto the dresser that has the jewelry box that has those watches. The ashes of Anton, my Rottweiler, who you'll notice is kind of sort of colored in the Mastiff logo. Remember, everything I do with logos and artwork and whatever has a Illuminati-esque meaning behind it. Okay, where'd that puppy go? Hi, baby. As well as the ashes for Moby, who also passed away about 1.5 years ago. I keep forgetting to start the show with this. Here it is.
Wake up, goddammit!
There we go. Now we're awake. So lots of sentimental, worthy things for me to try and make safe during the next couple of days. Maybe that means taking them with me. Maybe that means putting that even in a higher place here. I don't know. Because we're going to get hurricane winds that rip my roof off. Putting them in the attic, what little bit of an attic I've got, might not be a bright idea. So we'll see. I've got a little bit of time left. I can leave later tonight or maybe first thing tomorrow. And I'm just going to stay on top of the weather. The computer here will be the last thing I pack for that reason. And I will probably be taking the computer. I just had it worked on. Shout out to Tim's Custom Computers in Newport Richey. Yeah. I didn't put show notes together, but I know what we're doing. We've got the morning motivation. We got hurricane updates. You can call me. Actually, I don't know if you can because we're switching phone carriers. We were with Ring Central for the past year. And there is a local company here in the Tampa Bay who I would love to be with right now because we are with, but we're not finished transitioning because I'm kind of busy. Their backup system is supposedly second to none. Our future studio will be quite similar. As most of you know, I lost almost everything last week to Helene. And now we're about to lose the rest of it to Milton. And if that doesn't do the job, there's a third one on the way. So this is going to be my livelihood. Had Helene not come through, I would have finished some discussions and negotiations with various businesses. I would be receiving money right now, as any startup would love to be experiencing. Sorry, I just had to clear the voice. Excuse me. So let's get through some of the usual. I'll stop pitching about hurricanes. Pierre Robert is a disc jockey that I've listened to literally my whole life. He's been in at 93.3 WMMR since 1981. And in honor of him and what he does, I take a bit here that kind of honors him and some other folks. And his story, I just want to, I'm going to go off script a little bit and just tell his story a little bit. He transferred from San Francisco when his rock station, progressive rock station in San Fran, switched from that to urban country. I don't even know what that is. But urban country, he changed his air name just so as to not screw up his life, and said, you know what, this just ain't for me. He left the station, and during his period on employment, a friend of him comes to say, I got something for you to do. Drive me across the country so I can go to college. He does. He takes him up on the offer. And while in Philadelphia, visiting with his friend, he puts a tape in to station manager or program director, I don't know which one he was, a guy named Joe Bonadonna in Philadelphia at 93.3 WMMR. To which Joe says no. During his time there, he visits the famous South Street, a tourist attraction area just outside of Center City. And what's the hill? There's a hill, a ritzy section to like the east, southeast. I'll think of it. Goes and sees a fortune teller who says, go home. There's a letter waiting for you that's important. Thinking home was San Francisco. He gets back in Minerva, his Volkswagen van. That's why I got a minivan too, by the way. It's not a Volkswagen, it's a Dodge, but it's the modern day Minerva. Gets in Minerva, drives to his place drives to his place in Philadelphia to get his bags, where he meets his friend who says, hey, you got a letter. And with like this I'm getting chills right now, actually. And with this stunned feeling, he says, yeah, I know. And the letter was from Joe Bonadonna at WMMR. And the rest is literally rock history. Pierre Robert has been a fixture at MMR since 1981 and still is there today. He calls all of his listeners good citizens, and occasionally he'll do a toast to that citizen, to a particular citizen, for something good they've done. I don't know if it's a daily thing like mine is. Maybe it is. I don't know. But he does what he calls and what we call for Pierre's Pot. I got to put that up for where we do have graphics. For Pierre's Pot, he does what he calls a toast of the morning sauce in your direction. Today's toast from me, a big thank you, is to these scores of people, whether it's via Facebook, text messaging. My mom has lit up my text messages like fireworks. Friends, family, work wives, all of you, thank you very much. We will be evacuating. I'm just going to stay on top of conditions and work on securing not just inside, but especially the outside of the doghouse, as I call it, Yerger Group headquarters. And that way, there's as little loss as possible. It's essentially going to be a total gut anyway because of the damage we're building up. Oh, there we go. There's earlier sauce, in case you were wondering. We're not going to redo the inside, which had 4 feet of water in it, to do the same thing next year. This is what's so emotional for me, to see this. I was here last year for Adalia and lucked out. I had Adalia come up to my front door and back door and barely got in on corners of my house through the wall. We're going to open up a WFLA link that I just got on Facebook. See what they got to say. It's down to a 4. Now they're saying that it's going to be crossing southern tip of Tampa Bay, right through Bradenton, which is where one of our stations is. That's hard. Wednesday at 8 p.m., it's still going to be off the coast. Yeah, they're looking at about midnight. This Thursday at 8 a.m., 12 hours later, it'll be right about Orlando as a Category 2 crossing land. And then heading into the ocean, to the Atlantic as a 2, towards Bermuda. So, Pierre, and thanks to everybody that has been checking in on me. I appreciate it. Love you all. I'm glad you're all here. So I'm not supposed to be drinking caffeine, but as Pierre can tell you, when it's made right, it's good stuff. So the toast of the morning sauce into the direction of all of you who've been checking in, my son included, who are somewhere else and hopefully safe and dry. I will be too. We will be back on the air. Again, planning on tomorrow still being on the air. Weather, conditions, electric, internet, etc. permitting. And then Thursday is up in the air, whether or not we'll be on the air for obvious reasons. By that point, as you saw, where'd it go? I don't know if they're still live or what. Yeah. Is the track likely to shift back north, or is it going to stay south? Let's listen. Everybody's got a cough. That's me.
Area 10 to 15 foot of storm surge.
All right, I've got my eyes locked in here on the Facebook Live comment section. That's what we do here in the Stream Center. I field your questions. Eric answers them. There's no control room anywhere funneling the questions. I'm the one looking at them on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. Let's get to as many as we can. And even if we don't answer your particular question, the area that you're asking about, we will likely get to on screen. Real quick, we just had an update on Wobble Tracker. Let's just check
Hopefully
that.
everybody's
I saw the
hearing
black
that.
frame here in
You're
the
probably
Stream
not
Center.
hearing that if you're listening. To
No, I mean, look, the
Yes,
ice
again,
pretty much locked in on the path right now, looking good.
It's going to be hard to see any deviation because of that big 4 right there. Once we get to about noontime, I think we'll start to see if, I mean, it almost looks like it deviated maybe a little bit to the south. Do you see that right there?
Yeah.
But it's only been 20 minutes since the track came out, so it's really hard to say anything until I would say 11.
So hurricanes have this thing called a wobble, just because of that, the fact that they are lopsided. Palm Harbor near Wall Springs Park, that's also near me.
Chief Meteorologist Jeff Baradelli. How will Milton storm surge compare to Helene? Joining us from Palm Harbor near Wall Springs Park.
Yeah, so if this stays to the south, the storm surge will be pretty much non-existent. But if this moves north of you, which I don't think it will, the storm surge would be 2 to 3 times worse compared to Helene.
Let's next go to Facebook Live. We've got Matt and Aaron joining us on a joint Facebook account, #KJB. Look, Brandon, I mean, isn't the center of the track
pretty close
through Brandon right now?
Yeah, pretty close. Yeah, the eye would move right over Brandon around 3, 4 o'clock in the morning overnight, Wednesday night. So if this does move to the south, there's a huge swath of rain expected to the north. There'll be flooding rain. There'll be upwards of 12 inches of rain in a short period of time. So there'll definitely be street flooding and a lot of inland flooding with this to the north of the storm. So Brandon, you're pretty much right in the eye. So you're looking at 120 miles per hour wind gust at least. So again, if you're hunkering down, make sure your storm shutters are up. You have the hurricane glass. If you have the roof bracket, that's even better.
Let's next go to Melissa. I mean, we could talk about Mulberry, but why don't we just give an overview about mobile homes too? Because mobile homes, look, it's not, if you're in, the vicinity of the cone, you got to really talk about getting out of there.
Yeah. So, Mulberry, western Polk County, and this looks like it's going to pretty much go right over top of you. So, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but if you're in a mobile home park and the eye goes over top of you, you don't really have. There's not much of a chance that mobile home is gonna be safe for you. So I would get out of there.
Shout out to Darlene Tucker because she's up next. Darlene, we know you're special. Special viewer, of course, joining us from Gainesville. Hashtag KJB. This new potential track is better for us here in Gainesville. We are under a tropical storm warning only at this time. There's some hotel rooms available up here at this time if this information helps. So yeah, I mean, look. Gainesville, what's interesting about Gainesville, and Darlene knows this, is that Gainesville is used to handling a dramatic influx of people because it's home to the University of Florida Gators. When you've got Florida versus Alabama, Florida versus Georgia in the swamp, you gotta be able to handle just an enormous amount of people. So there are hotels up there. Now, Darlene is saying there's still rooms available. Is Gainesville enough out of the cone that you
Wiggling
feel comfortable that's a...
We'll leave that on. Check back in on it later. See how long these guys go. So, yeah, good news. I'm anxious to see the... Oh, I hate this. I'm also on, one of the destinations I'm also on is Instagram. And I think it's going to go the way of I think I'm not going to do Instagram anymore. Instagram and Chatter. I love the guys that are trying to do the thing with, but seriously, you got to help me help you. Wasn't that Tom Cruise's line? Help me help you. If you guys don't want me to help promote your application, I won't. But I'm the one that's now got 40,000 people listening to me in Atlanta and 25, almost 30,000 here in Tampa because of my own doing. I mean, this makes me crazy. I'm giving it to you. I'm giving to you. And they're in beta. This is an opportunity for them to be developing. Give me the desktop version that everybody says you've got. I don't get it. Meanwhile, developing an audience on Rumble. Go figure. I've got to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to do morning motivation. Check in again, maybe with WFLA. And also tell you about we never got to the hypocrisy of the far right knuckleheads that there are. So we'll talk about that today too. 99.1 WDJY, Yerg's Radio, Rainbow Radio, and the rest of the Mastiff Media Network. We'll be back after I get ready for a commercial. Here we go. We'll be back after this.
Is the only president in American history who has refused to guarantee the peaceful transfer of power.
Joe Biden.
He lost the election and he knew it.
To become the president.
He betrayed millions of Americans by telling them the election was stolen.
Stop the steal.
He ignored the rulings of dozens of courts. Rather than accept his defeat, he mobilized a mob to come to Washington and march on the Capitol. Then he watched on television while the mob attacked law enforcement, invaded the Capitol, and hunted the vice president. He refused for 3 hours to tell the mob to leave. There has never been a greater dereliction of duty by any president. Trump was warned repeatedly that his plans for January 6th were illegal. He didn't care, and today he celebrates those who attacked our Capitol. Donald Trump has proven he is unfit for office. Donald Trump is a risk America can never take again.
Smell nasty. Do you want to freshen it up a little bit? Go to aromabypeter.com. Check out all of Peter's candles. It's what we burn here in Studio Yergs. I'm burning right now leather scented candle. That's right, leather scented. So go to aromabypeter.com/Yergs and check out his candles today.
I'm Jane Stahl, retired English teacher, and with my BFF, Susan Bebeck, we manage Studio B Fine Art Gallery in Boyertown, Pennsylvania. We showcase the art of hundreds of local artists, publish books of the poetry, prose, and art of local writers, offer classes, art parties, workshops, discussion groups, cater dinners. We've even hosted a wedding. And we're here to be the go-to place for friendship, learning, and fun in our community. Virtual tours of our exhibits are available right here on Yergs Radio. Let us introduce you to some amazing art and artists.
Check out Jane Stahl and everyone at Studio B in Boyertown, Pennsylvania. Please visit our YouTube channel, Talk TV 24. How's your website doing? I'll tell you how mine's doing. It's awesome. Yergs.com is gotta be the best website for anybody in podcasting or any sort of broadcast solo journalist like me. How did I get that? Limit Break Digital. Limit Break Digital did my website with Yergs.com. They did YergerGroup.com. They take care of my marketing, my branding, and help me get the message out to you. Go to limitbreakdigital.com/Yergs for 10% off your next project. That's a $3,000 site, Yergs.com. And you can get 10% off that by just going to limitbreakdigital.com/Yergs today. Talk to Jay. That's my guy. We all got a guy, and Jay's mine. limitbreakdigital.com. All right, man. How's your body doing? I gotta put some music on. How's your body doing? Mine's doing better already. Yeah. Yesterday, I finally talked with Anthony, and I am once again a member of what used to be Monster Mouse Fitness in Jasmine Estates. Now Momentum. Down just a little bit more. Momentum Fitness and Wellness Center. Upgraded. And I don't know what... we're both busy with these storms. And I said, I want you to send me something. So just go in, tell him you want a membership. He will get you a deal. I promise you. These corporate gyms come in, offer nothing for low prices, and people see the low price and that's it. And they wonder why they get fat. I haven't been to the gym in a year and a half, and I'm in better shape than these people. Because I got my start at what was Monster Mouse Fitness, now Momentum Fitness and Wellness. And why Momentum? Because that's exactly what they built. Get in and build your momentum. New equipment, upgraded equipment, dunk tanks, or what's this cool thing now where the end thing where you plunge tank or something? You submerge your body in cold water. Look, that one I don't agree with. I got to be honest. I've got Howard Stern's disease. I don't need to be shriveled up anymore. But they do have a sauna, which I do think helps me out greatly. Kind of loosens things up, heats things up. It's like a microwave before going to work out. Loosens up your muscles. So this whole cold plunge thing, I don't get it. But hey, that's the thing. And they've got it. If that's you, Get in there. Get back your Hernando Beach body or keep it wherever you're at. Momentum, Fitness, and Wellness. Right on 19, Jasmine Estates, Pasco County. All right. And tell Anthony. There we go. Tell Anthony. Eric sent you. And he'll take care of you. I promise you. We just did. I got my membership back yesterday. And we're good. Just checking in. Oh, WFLA does this thing now where you can send a video. And I'll probably have to try to do that from here, see what they do with it. But yeah. Oh, now Pasco County's getting together. That's me. There we go. Flannel shirts, jeans, polo shirts. That's my people. All right, let's listen on this one. Oh, there's my guy. Jack's got our back. He's there. Yeah, I may just do that. I'm just worried about the surge and the dogs. This guy came through my house with the governor. So I don't know if it's them or me. I got like amazing internet. Yep, we do that too. All right, so that's that. It's my county. So I mean, oh, what's this guy? Sorry, something popped up on my Facebook. I thought, oh, gotta check that dude out. All right, so here is the latest. It's now wiggling south. Winds will be at about 125 miles per hour tonight at 8, and it'll be off the coast south of Tampa Bay, but with a northeast trajectory. Still looking like it's going to miss Tampa Bay. Excuse me. Rebecca from WFLA, the one meteorologist, was having the same issue. She just up and coughs all of a sudden. And you heard Eric Stone cough when we had them on earlier today. Yeah, we call that Trump trachea. So it's moving east northeast at about 9 miles an hour, which is kind of slow. Could be worse. I just heard a ding that kind of bothers me. I would very much like to know what that was. But let me put, while I'm looking for this, let me put WFLA back on. Bob. Hey, that's me. Uh,
Let's get one more in just because it'll make Eric smile. Eric, we like making Eric smile. Eric deserves smiles.
I think I know this one.
Fun fact, do you know that Eric is one of the world's top ranked pinball players? You know, Eric, if you went full-time pinball, you'd just be number one all the time, but you have to, of course, do meteorology. Right.
I did get to number one.
Yeah.
About, I think it was 2020 or 2021. I was number one.
Let's see. This question next coming in from Bash. Let's listen.
Hey Eric, you've been to our house in Brandon before. Did we have to protect our pinball machines?
Oh man!
So
protect the pinball machines.
My buddy last night said,
Oh, wow.
"Hey, look what I did. I'm going to send this video in to you tomorrow." And the pinball machine that he was standing next to was mine. So I have one of my machines over there. So yeah, man. He lives in Valrico, Brandon area, and boy, there's a lot of wind. So I know he's got a lot of patio furniture, cornhole stuff outside. Anyone wants to take in anything you've got outside, because boy, 100 to 120 mile an hour wind gusts are going to be pretty bad. And if it typically floods in your neighborhood, this is definitely going to be a pretty big flooding event with 10 to 12 inches of rain.
All right. You can send in your video questions. As promised, we're going to do those segments and be a little more concise because we lingered on them for a long time yesterday. But you can send in your videos to WFLA.com/report it. We will get to video questions, I would say, every 20 to 30 minutes. We're trying to juggle a lot here in rotation. We don't go to commercial break. Fun fact. We don't go to commercials. It's all the time streaming. So we're going to try to keep a rotation up of hashtag-based questions. Questions coming in via video, via selfies to WFLA.com/report it. And also a big part of our rotation, always streaming on WFLA.com, the real-time wobble tracker, Eric.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, the last couple of frames, it almost looks like this a little bit further to the south. I'm looking at the big screen. But boy, the center, you know, this is like a well-oiled machine, right? You can just see those bands of convection spinning out of control from the center of circulation out. I mean, this is such an impressive looking storm on infrared satellite. But boy, you see those last couple frames, JB? It's like right there.
Yeah, a little.
You know, almost looks a little south.
I'm gonna use a word here to describe it. It's a little screwy. The storm is a little screwy, and what I mean by that is, everybody, I want you to pay attention here to the past line. Do you see the blue line there on the left side of your screen? That is basically Milton's exact path, you know, the center of the eye. And it's just kind of, you know, it's meandered north, south. It's just kind of, it's a little screwy to me. Is that fair, Eric?
Yeah, I still think there's going to be some surprise with this storm. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a shift to the south, but there's going to be some surprise in the storm that we're going to say, oh, wow, look what it did. And, you know, maybe we're going to fare a little bit better here in the Bay Area with the track moving a little bit further to the south. But I feel something is going to happen with this. And, you know, we still have today and tomorrow to see what happens. But, you know, we'll see if this is a wobble. And this could be
let's hope that's
wobble. I don't think
surprising.
it's
It jumping
a
north.
movement that's going to keep on moving to the east. But again, there's a lot at play here. There's a jet that's sagging down into the Gulf, and it's going to pick this up on the eastern side of the jet and guide this closer to us sooner than later. So again, there's a lot that can happen with this one. We'll keep an eye on it.
I want our comment section to let us know which part of our coverage do you really want us to hone in on most? Is it hashtag-based questions? Is it video questions? Is it Wobble Tracker? Is it the computer models that are coming in? Various things that we can do. I want to make this clear. We stream here in the Stream Center for our audience, and we want to do right by our audience. So if there's something that you really like to see, a part of our coverage, let us know. We're always open to feedback here, and even during
Definitely the
our
Wobble
streaming
Tracker.
coverage,
That thing's
we
amazing.
can, make the necessary adjustments to best serve you, our audience, and keep you guys informed and keep you and your families safe. So let us know in the comment section what you would like to see more of, even less of. Just let us know. We're here to provide you guys with the best coverage possible. I mean that. It's a huge
Everybody's
part of
saying
what we
Wobble
do.
Tracker.
In the meantime, let's go back to hashtag-based questions. Nelly, hashtag AJB and Eric. If it makes landfall in Sarasota, how bad will it be for Northern Highlands County, Avon Park, and a thank you there as well.
Yeah.
All right. So it's sliding south. Nothing too significant for us yet in Pasco and parts north, but it's sliding south. And that's good news. So up next, we're going to do the morning motivation. I do this thing where I pull from my screensavers and desktop photos quotes it's a file of a collection of quotes of people who I've met or not met, but for some reason have inspired my life. And the quotes that they've said and how that quote has inspired me. Today comes from George W. I gotta turn it on here. Oh, where'd it go? Thought I did it. Share. It is not letting me. What the hell? All right, well, let's turn it off. Turn it back on. That usually works. There it is. All right. They misunderestate me. I don't even know if I pronounced that right. They misunderestimated me. Here's my life and how this not only applies to me, but hopefully can apply to you. Way back when I was literally a kid, and that tarot reader or whatever she was that my aunt went to that said I was going to work for the federal government and die a violent death, who was right. I did wind up working for the federal government, but I wanted to be in pro baseball as an umpire, Major League umpire, a National Hockey League referee. They didn't happen. It's okay. I still went to the minor leagues for baseball. 2 years in minor league baseball as an umpire. Didn't make the major leagues, but I still did something with my life in baseball that nobody could even think of doing, let alone actually pull off. Then hockey. I've been to the United States Olympic Training Center twice to train, where I was scouted by the National Hockey League. Didn't make that either. That's okay, because I still did something twice that so many of you would never have been able to do. Then I made it to the major leagues of law enforcement. Something else somebody said would never happen. And I almost believed it, because in the other room hangs a letter, what we call in the Secret Service the thanks but no thanks letter, or a BQA letter. BQA stands for Better Qualified Applicant. It's when they give you the bad news. I got that letter. I forget the date, but it was 1998. Standing in my mom and dad's foyer space. It's a small little space right inside their front door, essentially in their living room. I opened it, read it, dropped it in its spot right there, and ran up and cried. I said, I'm not going to let all of these setbacks be who I am. The guy who almost went to the NHL, who almost went to Major League Baseball, and almost to the Secret Service. The late Mike Benio, rest in peace, read the memo that I had on the squad room at North Coventry Township Police Department, where I was an intern and an office employee. Speaking of 9/11 and major emergency events like this, I took all 8,000 residents of North Coventry Township and took them from rural delivery 1 or 2, Pottstown. Star Route was another one, Pottstown. And that was it. That was their address. Shout out to somebody listening right now. Doug and Val Deischer, Star Route 1, Pottstown. As an example, it was never their address, but we'll say it was. Right next door, Ross Yergs Yerger, Star Route 1, Pottstown. Now, how are you in an ambulance at 3 o'clock in the morning going to reach someone's actual house, having no idea? Your mailman back in those days, when that was the only address you needed, he knew you. She knew you. The ambulance driver from whatever company that's coming to get you, because there aren't enough full-time county, city, town, state-run services running. Many of them are volunteer. Somebody's got to know where you live. And so I put the street address into 8,000 residents. So much so that even apartment buildings, each unit had a street address. Not the building, 2122, 2124, 2126, apartment 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. Each unit had its own street address. So North Coventry Apartments was like, I don't know what the number was, but 150 to 350 for 200 units. Each one had their own street address. And all kinds of people bitched and hollered and pissed and moaned until they had to do one very scary thing. Call 911. And when the police and ambulance were there in literally minutes, I could not get a big enough mailbox for all the thank you cards. And so with the job that I did there, when the Secret Service didn't want me anymore, Mike Benio, Chief Mitt Benio of the police department, who was like an uncle to me, he's one of my nine people in my life who have taken theirs. He said, well, if they don't want you, we'll take you. He went into his office, locked his door, and filled out the form or the application for Bill Clinton's crime bill, which gave federal money to local police departments to pay for part-time police officers like me. A year later, I was in the Secret Service. Fast forward to my retirement, my move here to the Tampa Bay area. I made it through Hurricane Ian, which by the time it got to me was a tropical storm. I made it through Hurricane Idalia, which only made it to my front step and back patio area. Did not make it really into my house. Not on the level that so many of my neighbors did, who just moved back in, by the way, 2 or 3 months ago. And their brand new house is gutted all over again. So I feel like I lived that with them. Because now I'm just going to say it even though I'm on the radio, my shit's on my front lawn right now. And I feel like I gutted my house last year. Because I know what it's like having been in a house fire back in college. I'll tell you that story someday. And now I feel like I'm gutting my house all over again. I'm not doing this a second time. And so with all the times in my life, Wayne Gretzky said this in a video that I should probably watch later today. Wayne Gretzky said this about all the detractors. Do you read the negative articles, sports articles, critiques about you? He was asked. He says, oh, yeah, every one of them. That is a fire that lights inside of me. And actually, there's another quote from Gary Vaynerchuk that says the same thing. I may have already used it. But people misunderestimate me, to use W's quote. And I love that. Here it is from Gary Vaynerchuk. Being underestimated. And I did use this back in, I put the date in the file name. So don't use it too frequently. But I did use a similar quote from Gary Vaynerchuk. Being underestimated is the ultimate stimulant. Hell yeah. My own brother told me I will not be able to build up. I'm not rebuilding the inside of this house again for it to take 9 months for me to do it all over again next year and may not have the insurance to pay for it. Tell me how that makes any sense. I will do it bit by bit if I have to. And if I do have to remodel the ground floor, the 3 things that will never be used to do it: carpet, drywall, and wood. Because they're the worst things to have to rip out when they're soaking wet. If I have to stay on this first level and can't build up, I'll have commercial kitchen grade stainless cabinets of sorts, which won't be cabinets, it'll be shelves. That's it. I'll use the same stone that's there now. But I do have the blessing from the county, who's excited, by the way, to build up. I do have the potential onboarding of an architect and engineer who will help with the plans. He could do all of it, but he's one neighborhood to the south of me. He's just as bad as I am. He's got his own problems. But I got another brother who, like everybody else besides me and my family, is in construction. He's contemplating, depending on what we can arrange, maybe being the one to do the plans. Send it to this neighbor of sorts for a blessing, and then he sends it off to the county, who will be expecting it because they love this neighbor architect guy. He actually designed and built another neighbor's house who's actually out on the water. Our connection here to the water is a canal, which eventually takes you to the Gulf of Mexico. My neighbor, Keith. Eric's another one. My neighbor, Keith, is on the Gulf of Mexico. Dude had 7 feet in his ground level. And lost nothing. Except a newly installed outdoor kitchen. Which, of course, is painful. But you could be somebody who lost your outdoor kitchen, your indoor kitchen, all of your bedrooms, other material belongings. He's got a special needs wife who has MS. He'll be redesigning the elevator that she uses which actually, for the most part, withstood the storm. But I can't wait to build up. Right on top of the house I got now. I'll gut the first floor. It'll be open space, storage, party space, bunk beds for when my niece and nephew and their friends visit, or my son's friends, whatever. Oh, we just lost Atlanta. It's 12 o'clock. All right, gang, I'm rambling. So, yeah, they underestimate me. And we're going to change that. And I'm going to take all of you with me. Anybody that wants to build up, listening to me right now, hit me up at news, NEWZ, at yergz.com. Why am I not? There we go. That's what I wanted. News, NEWZ, at yergz.com. That's the email. Hope to hear from you. Stay safe, stay dry, but more importantly, stay safe. If you get wet, it ain't going to kill you. Unless, you're not wearing a life jacket and it takes you out and that kind of thing. Stay safe. That's it. I will be back, I think, tomorrow. Stay tuned. Check out our social media. I'll make announcements on Facebook, all over Facebook and Twitter. Wherever we broadcast this to, I will try to make whatever announcement possible. If we can't be there for whatever reason, if we do need to leave sooner than that, then I'm not going to be stupid. I want to be back Thursday, Friday, or next week and beyond. So, yeah, let's do this, gang. Here comes 2 out of 3. Because, like I said, there's a third one behind it we don't even know all that much about yet. But, yeah, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, depending on the platform. We will try to see you again tomorrow. And like I said, Thursday will probably be a recorded episode that I'll do maybe later today. For those at 99.1 that we already lost because I was rambling, and everybody else in the Massive Media Network, you've been up the middle. See you tomorrow.
First of all, what? What?
Wake up, goddammit!
Relax, darling. We're all mishpucha. All right. Well, that's all the time we have this week. My name is Linda Richmond.
And my name is Liz. Of course, this is my mother. Barbara, we love you. Hello, gorgeous. The movie was like butter.
Like butter.
Like a big stick of butter.
Mama!
Oi, all this talk about food, I'm getting hungry, girls.
She is like butter. Oh, I can die now. I can die. Barbara, you're beautiful. That's all the time we have. I have to go and die
Who listens for 18 minutes. The average fan listens for, are you ready for this? An hour and 20 minutes.
How can that be?
Answer most commonly given. I want to see what he'll say next.
All right, okay, fine. But what about the people who hate Yergs?
Good point. The average hater listens for 2.5 hours a day.
Look, but if they hate him, why do they listen?
Most common answer, I want to see what he'll say next.